Hi guys, so today I wanted to come to you on this absolutely beautiful winter wonderlandy day on the homestead and talk about shifting your state of mind. So a lot of people will come to me with complaints about what's going on in their head. So whether it's pessimistic thinking or, destructive, repetitive thought patterns that just keep coming back, or being hard on yourself, those types of things. So people come to me for that quite a bit. And how we shift the state of mind is in Heilkunst. What we're doing is treating disease states. So whether it's diseases that have accumulated through a lifetime of trauma or abuse, or even just cultural conditioning, so some of these things, or if it's the miasm, something that's been inherited. So all of the videos that I have done in the past years, most of the videos have been on disease states and then the unique state of mind that goes with those disease states. So, everything aside from the Constitution. So the Constitution, your Constitution is your way of being in a state of health. So if you haven't checked out my Constitution series, you can do that here. And that talks about the 6 constitutional types. So the 6 ways of being in a state of health. So we will have aspects of all of those, but usually 1 or 2 will be dominant for a person. So a combination I see a lot is silica and phosphorus together, or phosphorus and pulsatilla together, or someone could be like a calcy sulf. So it's kind of a combination of the 2. So if you haven't checked out the constitutional video series, you can check that out. So when a person is being treated, we are aiming to get them more into their constitution, so their way of being in a state of health. But what happens is, as people go through life and they experience trauma or faulty upbringing, things like that, we can shift into what's called a phenotype. So I've also done a phenotype series. You can check that out here. There's 6 phenotypes that we can shift in as a way of kind of protecting ourselves because of the trauma that we've gone through in our life. When I say trauma, I don't even mean, like the big events. It can be small, repetitive events. So it can even be, small disappointments throughout a person's life. Those things can build up to become a bigger issue. So, if a person has sustained a series of disappointments throughout their life and it remains untreated, you can shift into a Nat-mur phenotype, which is our unresolved grief, abandonment, phenotype. So you can check that one out here too if you want to. So most people don't get through life completely unscathed. So we will have varying degrees of the phenotypes. So the ones I see a lot are Staphysagria. I see them all, but Staphysagria, which is suppressed resentment, anger, victimization, violation. So if you've had, a series of events in your life that have that theme, probably you will have aspects of the Staphysagria phenotype. If you've had abandonment, if you've had grief events, if you've had, like I said, repeated repeated disappointments throughout your life, you can shift into the Nat-mur state, which is all about grief and abandonment, sadness, those types of things. So, and depending on how much you've had will kind of determine how prominently that disease state is manifesting in you. Does that make sense? So, if you've had a lot of grief, then you probably have a lot of Nat-mur. If you've only had a little bit, you probably just have a smattering of Nat-mur. But the thing is, what we do in Heilkunst is we start taking off those layers, remove those disease states that have been engendered because of our life experience. And as we do that, your state of mind will shift, because when you engender Nat-mur or Staphysagria, you create that. It shifts your state of mind. So you have that disease state and it can manifest physically, but if you don't have physical symptoms, you can see it in the state of mind, the unique state of mind with each of those diseases. So like I said, if you want to check out the unique state of mind, I've described them all in my phenotype videos, also in my chronic miasm series. So states of mind can be inherited as well, and they can get passed down through generation, and those ones are the doozies. But in Heilkunst, we will treat those as well. And so you're basically putting an end to these generational diseases, things that have been passed down generation after generation after generation, because the miasms can be passed down through 7 generations. And so things like tuberculosis get passed down. So you don't have the active disease, but you have a unique state of mind, and then also physical symptoms that can stem from that as well because of that family history. So check out the miasm series, check out the phenotype series, and then you can see, the most common, and there's others, but those are the most common disease states that we will engender. Oh, little kitty he's wanting some attention. Are you wanting some attention? Are you wanting some attention? So those are the most common states of mind, and the most common states of mind that we're working on shifting with Heilkunst treatment. So when people come to me, I will be able to see, because of their state of mind and what they're struggling with inside their heads, I will be able to see what disease states need to be removed. And then, like, literally the way you think and your personality can even shift because of removing these disease states, which is really, really cool. I remember before I discovered Heilkunst treatment, I was really into doing affirmations and meditations and doing all these things to try and shift my state of mind. And if I stayed on top of them, then my state of mind would be okay. But if I let it slip for a day or two, all of those same destructive thought patterns would just come back. And that's why I started my journey to discover Heilkunst. I was studying naturopathic medicine, and I was like, this is not going to fix what I'm struggling with in here. And when I found Heilkunst, I couldn't believe it. Back then, no one was really talking about kind of like the mind-body connection. So when I discovered it, I was, well, my knees got weak and I started crying. But yeah, so, I mean, it's been incredible because that was addressing what I was really struggling with, because I couldn't, no matter what work I did on myself, I couldn't permanently shift my state of mind. I just kept coming up against the same things, and it was because it was disease states that needed to be removed. So with Heilkunst, we used homeopathic remedies according to the law of similars, which is a curative law. It's a natural law. It's been around, well, it's been around forever. I mean, it's a natural law. So Hippocrates used it, the Egyptians used it, but it didn't gain popularity because people were using crude doses in the way they would herbal medicine. And a lot of the remedies could cause serious harm or death. So it really wasn't popular. But anyway, so then Hahnemann in the 1700s took a look at the materia medica and started experimenting to see how much he could dilute and what's called potentize these remedies to make them safer. And so as he did that, he found that they became safer and also more effective as a medicine. And then homeopathy was born. And so in Heilkunst, we treat things a little differently than we do, say, in classical homeopathy. It's more of a sequential treatment. So taking off the layers of things that have been accumulated, whether physical or emotional traumas, and then also the things that have been inherited, so the chronic miasms. And we do that basically in order. So we start with the timeline and we peel back the layers of things that have been accumulated, and then we work at treating the inherited stuff. So that is how in Heilkunst we work to shift a person's state of mind. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and you'll get a notification when I put out a new video. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.